New research out of Queen's University in Canada. Using fMRI machines, they discovered that the average person has more than 6,000 thoughts per day. 6,000 thoughts a day, that's a lot of thoughts. So we've got this ongoing internal monologue, almost like we are listening to our own internal radio station. Or for some of us who are more visual, we've got our own series of shows streaming throughout the day. What's the quality of these thoughts? What are the messages that we are sending to ourselves? Are you tuned into the calamity station? Are you broadcasting a lot of anxious thoughts? Or are you thinking mostly pleasant, motivating, and engaging thoughts? Given that we have over 6,000 thoughts per day running through our mind, it might be worth asking yourself, how do I like the internal TV station that I'm broadcasting? And guess what? If you're like a lot of people, you're probably thinking a lot of negative thoughts. According to research from the National Science Foundation, 80% of our internal dialogue is negative. So you may not be the same as the average person. You might have more positive thoughts, or some of you might have even higher percentage of negative thoughts. In either case, what would it be like for you if you substituted even some of those negative thoughts with better thoughts? Thoughts that felt good to listen to, led toward you doing more of the things you want to do, and gave you a better experience of life. If a ship leaves from Europe, a 1% change in the direction of the trip leads to either ending up in New York City or Miami, Florida, two very different destinations. Where would changing even 1% of your thoughts lead you? So let's talk about some strategies that can shift the balance of negative thoughts. The first one is really simple. Get clear in what ways you judge yourself or your life positively. It might be that you think you've got a good sense of humor, or that you're a hardworking student, or that you're loving and caring with your pet dog, or maybe it's that you've got a good friend, or some really loving members of your family. Whatever it is for you that you judge positively, all you have to do is review and repeat those thoughts a few times a day. Some people do it at meal times, others when they're walking or commuting to work or to school. And just by doing this simple strategy, you will start to have a higher percentage of your thoughts during the day that are positive and that feel good to listen to or to visualize. Secondly, challenge some of your negative thoughts. Once again, according to research from the National Science Foundation, 85% of what we worry about never happens. And even when it does happen, most people discover that they handled it better than they expected, or that they learned something useful. For instance, if you are thinking, I'll never find someone I like who wants to be in a relationship with me because I'm not tall enough, I'm not social enough, or I'm not, insert any self-judgmental adjective you'd like, then that's a belief or that's a thought that you can challenge. And challenging the negative belief is essentially asking, am I certain that this is true? Are there other people who are not as tall as my ideal either, who in fact are in a relationship? Are there other people who are shy or not very social who do in fact find someone and have a happy relationship? You can sometimes completely change your belief and see a whole new possibility and have entirely different thoughts simply from challenging a negative thought that you're having repetitively. Other times you might only slightly shift your thoughts and beliefs, but if you never challenge your thoughts, then they will likely stay the same. And according to this same research, 95% of our thoughts each day are repetitive. We had them yesterday and the day before and the day before. So by making space to challenge some of those thoughts, we give ourselves the possibility of updating our software and having an internal streaming station that works better for us. The next strategy is directing your thoughts toward what you want the future to ideally look like. It might be that you want to be in great shape, or that maybe you're wanting to have an inspiring job or a great romantic relationship. So if you direct your thoughts towards this preferred future and you really think about that inspiring job, You really think about being in great shape. You allow yourself to fantasize and imagine about that great romantic relationship. While you're doing that, you are feeling good. You are inspired. You are directing your thoughts, some of those 6,000 thoughts per day, towards something that is motivating and inspiring and engaging for you. And the third way we can start to shift the balance of our thoughts is to be present to what is happening right now. This might look like being mindful in the moment as you walk outside amongst the trees, or as you're washing up, or perhaps as you are eating a meal, or even talking to a friend. There are many moments throughout the day that offer the opportunity to be in the moment, present and mindful, instead of drifting away into our thoughts of the past or of the future. And in doing so, we can shift that percentage of those 6,000 thoughts towards something that is more satisfying and leads toward greater well-being. There is nothing wrong with pessimistic, anxious, or fearful thoughts. Sometimes those thoughts can be useful. But for most of us, we can benefit from being intentional about shifting the balance of our thoughts so we spend more time being present and engaged with what is going on in this moment, or when we're thinking thoughts that are more inspiring and more fulfilling a greater percentage of the time. So what would it look like if you created a daily practice where you set aside some time to review the good things in your life, to imagine a preferred future, and to be more present and mindful?